Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Israel. Man, I hope everybody is having a blessed day. As we have entered into this rest, not many entered into this rest due to unbelief. Man, I hope everybody truly had, 6 days where they were very productive, able to get a lot done, and that, you are rejoicing in the fact that you know that you are chosen. You have entered into this rest. And today I'm going to push forward in the word. Had a great Shabbat message or Sabbath Day teaching from Elder Donnie of Straightway. And, today I'm going to capture a little bit of that in this message and push forward, hoping that those that are out there that are lost, that are struggling, will make the choice, will have the desire to return to the covenant, to return to righteousness. We have those who are Israel by bloodline, by lineage, but they're not a part of Israel, meaning, they've taken part in the same thing, the same thing Israel did when they was in Misraim, and that is the way that they have adopted, you know. So in today's message, I'm going to talk about how before being born again, before becoming a new creation, before being filled with the Ruach HaKodesh of the Most High Yah, oftentimes what is our type that we look for in a man and in a woman is far from righteous. And today I'm here to tell you that you will get everything that you didn't look for. Meaning, if you didn't look for a righteous man or a woman, don't be surprised when you get an unrighteous man or woman. Today, like I said, I hope this message, reaches those. Please share this message. I hope this message reaches those that are out there struggling because they're not leaning on the word of the Most High Yah. They're not following the Ruach. They are following their flesh and their own mind, their own heart. If you look in the comment section, I'm going to address this. I had Box Gaming. Hey, shout out to you, Shabbat Shalom, brother. It says on the thumbnail, this is what he's talking about. Is that a non-black woman? The scriptures clearly tell us not to mix. Image is everything. And I agree with you. For the sake of this Shabbat message, when you look at the rest of my channel, I use a lot of different imagery in the thumbnails. And one thing that we must know as Israel is what makes Israel different than the imposters that stand on the corner is we don't have just this colorism mindset that only the blacks or only the African Americans can be grafted in, because we know that the scripture says otherwise. The scripture does tell us that the Gentile, the heathen, the stranger, the other nations can be grafted in. It also gives us further instructions to let us know that there's one law, one statute. Those that are grafted in, that are following the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High Yah, shall be treated like a firstborn unto Yashriel. Last Shabbat, I pretty much said that you can be a Goyen by bloodline, by lineage in the physical, but be Israel in spirit in the way that you live your life. If you forfeit those heathen ways, those Gentile ways. And then I also said, you can be Israel by blood, by lineage in the physical, but spiritually, you're a Gentile, you're a heathen. So I had to address that because, oftentimes people come into this truth and they get so caught up on the blessings and the curses and the slavery, they forget about the part that if the Gentile, enters into a covenant with the Most High Yah, keeps his laws, statutes, and commandments, they too can be grafted in. At the end of the day, it was just a thumbnail of a pregnant lady. And we're definitely living in a Western culture where not only men are struggling to find righteous women, but you have women that are, struggling to find good men. And today we're going to talk about a lot of that. Okay. All right. In today's Shabbat message, I'm teaching how desiring a righteous man or woman has never been your agenda or your type. Let me move this straight on the screen right here so we can get to it. Has never been your agenda or your type. Oftentimes people struggle in relationships because they got exactly what they were looking for, which is someone unrighteous. In this daytime and era, we are seeing the Most High Yah, the most outlandish expectations and demands from men and women who are spiritually void. Man, I can tell you, I've been spiritually void, for a good period of my life. And looking back now, being a man that has daughters, being a man that has sons, I would have told, if I had discernment back then, or if somebody had a virtuous daughter, the knowledge and the wisdom of the Most High Yah that I have now, I would have said, nope, you don't need to mess with the old me. The old me had nothing good to offer you, didn't want to fulfill a duty to you as a man. And I was looking for, a lot of what young men often leave home looking for is to find some legs to fall in between, versus doing what the word says. Yesterday, before getting off work to go do my preparation to make sure I had everything I need, I was talking to a young man, a young soldier, and he said, he was asking, he was like, "First son, where the hoes at?" I said, "I don't know where the hoes at these days. I don't know. I'm not looking for them." And he said, "I'm looking for something to smash." And I said, "Man, I know you in your 20s, your early 20s, but I want you to listen to what I'm saying. It may not make sense now, but it'll make sense one day." He was like, "Well, I'm 23. What else am I supposed to do?" So I said, "Hey, the environment that you create for yourself at 23 as a man, you're going to have to deal with the outcome of that later." And what is that outcome? You'll go around looking at all these women, you will rack up a body count, fulfilling sexual immorality, fornication, doing all this stuff, lust of the flesh. And what's going to happen? One day when you come to your senses and say, "I actually want to settle down," it's going to be a struggle for you to find a virtuous woman, because that's the environment that you created for yourself. Okay. So when I say in this daytime and era, we are seeing the most outlandish expectation and demands for men and women who are spiritually void. Okay. Why are we here today? Not only do I hope that somebody, gets delivered out of leaning on their own understanding, somebody that's truly out there struggling. It don't matter if you in your 20s, don't matter in your 30s. It's not on to me, to decide when you get delivered. You got to make that choice for yourself to return to righteousness. But why we're here today on this Shabbat, Exodus chapter 20, verses 8 to 11. "Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy Yah. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates." So even we see right here, the stranger that's within our gates, the sojourner, the other nations, people that dwell with us, hey, we to give them rest too. Verse 11, "For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it." Man, we're at the point where if people want to lean on their own understanding, lean on religion, and defile what the word of Yah says, let them do that. That's not on us as Israel. That's not on us. But we know what word has been commanded to us, and that is why we're here. Okay. Man, I want to tell you that you will see that Adam did not have a choice in his selection of a woman. But Eve had the choice to obey the man Yah created for her, which she didn't. Okay. Adam did not have a say. The Most High Yah said he's going to make Adam a helper fit for him. In Genesis 2:18, the Lord Yah said, "It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him a helper fit for him." So it was the Most High Yah, creating Eve based upon what he knew Adam needed. He didn't create, Adam, no Instagram model or nothing like that. It was based upon his needs for what the duty was that Adam had. Okay. Genesis chapter 3, verses 1 through 7. This is where I want you to realize that Eve entered into a relationship with Hasatan, the serpent, and this is where things started getting rough. Now the serpent was more crafty than any other beast of the field that the Lord Yah had made. He said to the woman, "Did Yah actually say, 'You shall not eat of any of the tree in the garden'?" And the woman said to the serpent, "We may eat of the fruit of the trees in the garden, but Yah said, 'You shall not eat of the fruit of the trees that is in the midst of the garden, neither shall you touch it, lest you die.'" Man, I did a Shabbat teaching maybe 4 weeks ago, and I was talking about how, the scripture doesn't tell us, that Adam told her, the instruction of the Most High Yah was given to Adam, and it's by way of leadership that she knew. He passed that down to her. But we see right here, the serpent is trying to win the hearts and mind of Eve to get her to go against the will of Yah. And therefore, she enters into an agreement with Hasatan because he's winning her over. If she's not focused on obeying Yah and being righteous, the other side of that is being unrighteous, making unrighteous decisions. Okay. Verse 4, but the serpent said to the woman, "You will not surely die." Verse 5, for Yah knows that when you eat of it, your eyes will be open and you will be like a God, knowing good and evil. So listen to what was presented to her. Man, you don't have to be in this garden taking instruction from the Most High Yah and this man that he created, you for. You can be like a God in your own image, your own mind. So when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was a delight to the eyes, and that the tree was to be desired to make one wise, she took of its fruit and ate, and she also gave some to her husband who was with her, and he ate. Think about this right here. So much meat in this, and where we're going with this today. Okay. It says that the tree was a delight to her eyes. We know that the serpent said you could be like a God. And we look at today's woman. We look at the Beyoncés of this world in this message that they teach, being goddesses, women worship. The serpent pretty much gave Eve that same thing in the garden. Okay. And then instead of being wise by following the instruction of the Most High Yah, she wanted to get it from this tree. So therefore, she didn't show patience in submission by doing what the will of the Most High Yah had commanded Adam, and then Adam told her to do, and she had knowledge of. She wanted to be wise on her own. And then she pretty much persuaded her husband to eat the same thing, and he was disobedient when the Most High Yah gave him the order not to eat from this tree. Okay, so we see from the beginning, we see from Adam and Chua in the garden that there's some rebellion, some disobedience. We see that Adam did not have a choice in selecting his woman, but look what we have. We have the opportunity to choose a wife, to find a wife, to search and scour to find a woman that has, the qualities that we're looking for. Adam didn't have that. The Most High Yah created something that he wanted him to have that was fit for him. Okay. Genesis chapter 3, verse 16 through 19. This is where you've rebelled, and now I'm going to tell you how things are going to be. To the woman, he said, I will surely multiply your pain in childbearing. In pain you shall bring forth children, which is the fruit of their womb. Your desire shall be contrary to your husband, but he shall rule over you. I don't think when people think about relationships, they think about all of this stuff, but you don't see the opposition that goes on behind your desire shall be contrary to your husband. You're now, because of what you did, you're not going to want to do what your husband tells you to do. And then it says, but he shall rule over you. We see in the garden with Adam that he did not rule over Eve. He gave her the instruction, but he didn't give no correction when he saw that she was going astray, talking to the serpent, entering into an agreement with the serpent. So men out here, man, you can be praying and hoping for a godly woman and all of this, but she's not going to lead herself. You got to lead her. That's your duty. Her desire may be contrary to yours, but you are the one that rules over her. And to Adam, he said, because you have listened to the voice of your wife, you've acquiesced and capitulate to what your wife told you to do and have eaten of the tree of which I command you, you shall not eat of it. Cursed is the ground because of you. In pain, you shall eat of it all the days of your life. Thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for you, and you shall eat the plants of the field. By the sweat of your face, you shall eat bread. Man, this right here is talking about the labor you're going to have to go through in order to be able to eat, to be able to have, sustenance. And we look at today's men, what they don't want to do is really get out there and labor righteously, looking for something easy, but wanting women to bow down and worship you when you yourself is not submitted to the Most High Yah. Okay, it says, "To you return to the ground, for out of it you were taken, for you are dust, and to dust you shall return." Okay, so we got to look at moving on. We see that it was Adam's preference to enter into agreement with Hasatan, and that same scenario transpires till today, modern day times. We see that we got a bunch of men out here that don't want to lead their women. There's not a woman out there that does not require you to lead her. Doesn't exist. Okay. Genesis chapter 4, verse 1 through 8. Now Adam knew his wife, Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bore Cain. Okay. Cain, that's the seed of the wicked one, saying, I have gotten a man with the help of the Lord. And again, she bore his brother Abel. Now Abel was a keeper of sheep and Cain a worker of the ground. So I want you to think about this. We talked about the fruit of the root, the fruit of thy body, the fruit of the womb, and bearing good seed. And that has a lot to do with the selection of person, that you entertain, the type of woman that you entertain as a man, or the type of man you entertain as a woman. You see what I'm saying? And then we have an example right here where Eve bared 2 children. One was righteous, the other one wasn't. Okay, verse 3. In the course of time, Cain brought to the Lord an offering of fruit of the ground, and Abel also brought of the firstborn of his flock and of their fat portions. And the Lord had regard for Abel and his offering, but for Cain and his offering he had no regard. So Cain was very angry and fell to his face. The Lord said to Cain, why are you hungry? Why are you angry? And why has your face fallen? If you do well, will you not be accepted? If you do well, will you not be accepted? Okay. And if you do not do well, sin is crouching at the door. its desire is contrary to you, but you must rule over it. So the desires of sin that Cain was facing is contrary to you, but he's telling him, you must rule over that. You can't let that take you over. And then we look at today's population of young men and young women. I was a part of it before the Most High Yah, showed favor on me so I could be chosen, so I could have salvation and walk in his law, statutes, and commandments. Okay? Cain spoke to Abel, his brother, and when they were in the field, Cain rose up against his brother Abel and killed him. Because his brother was righteous. His brother was accepted. Cain wasn't. Okay? Matthew chapter 13, verse 38. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one. So we look at Cain, we look at his mother entering into a covenant with the serpent, Hasatan, brought forth wicked child. Okay? The field is the world, the seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one, the weeds, the ones that are going to have to be plucked up. Okay? So it shows us a separation. Everybody that walks around and says that they are a child of God is not a child of Yah. And it's up to you as a man or a woman to discern that. Okay? Matthew chapter 11, verse 15. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. Man, I want you to share this message, but I do know that there's going to be those that don't have ears to hear. They will watch something like this, even though they know that they're struggling, and pride has the best of them. They like, leaning on their own understanding, which has led them to sexual immorality, fornication, adultery, and all of this stuff. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. Ecclesiasticus chapter 6, verse 23. I want you to understand this. At some point of time, the righteous was not your type. When you thought about what you wanted in a woman, women out here, sisters out here, what you wanted a man. Oftentimes, the righteous get shamed and get called weirdos and all of this. We're dealing with a generation of people that's ass backwards. You got the small group of women that want to submit to their husband, that want to honor their husband, that want to reverence their husband. What does these worldly Western women call them? Oh, you's a pick me. All of this nonsense. If you're a man that truly wants to do right by your family, do right by the Most High Yah, you a square. You's a simp. You lame. You corny. You this. Ecclesiasticus chapter 6, verse 23. Give ear, my son, receive my advice, and refuse not my counsel. Everybody's not going to have ears to hear this. Man, you're going to have a man out here that doesn't want to receive the advice and the counsel of the Most High Yah, and he's constantly going to be entertaining harlots. He's going to constantly be entertaining women that want to rule over him. On the back end, sisters, here's another one. You're not going to want to receive the advice of the Most High Yah. You refuse his counsel. You reject truth. And this is why you will entertain fools. Because ultimately, deep down inside, you wasn't looking for nobody righteous as a man or a woman. Ecclesiasticus chapter 6, verse 33 through 37. If thou love to hear, thou shalt receive understanding. And if thou bow thine ear, thou shalt be wise. Stand in the multitude of elders, and cleave unto him that is wise. Be willing to hear every godly discourse, and let not the parables of understanding escape thee. And if thou seest a man of understanding, get unto him early, and let thy feet wear the steps of his door. So if you see a man of understanding in this daytime and hour, man, you need to get to him early. Why is that? Man, I remember when I was 18, 16. Man, I didn't want to be around nobody. Why? That was just the rebellious spirit in me. I would entertain them and respect them because, they were possibly family. But when it came to once I was outside of their guidance and instruction, I was going to do what rebellious ass me wanted to do. See, in this society, you got to look at how they promote all this at a young age, girlfriend and boyfriend stuff. Your son or daughter could be 14, 15, engaged in sex. And instead of teaching them righteously and how that caused you to err and how that caused you so much tribulation in your life, you say, well, they just young and they just gonna do it. But this is why it's important that from a child we pour into our kids early on. If thou seest the man of understanding, get to him early, and let thy foot wear the steps of his door. You need to be there frequently. Okay. Verse 37, let thy mind be upon the ordinances of the Lord, and meditate continually on his commandments. He shall establish thine heart and give thee wisdom at thine own desire. Man, when we think about this, think about all of the foolishness that we're seeing going on in this day, time, and hour. Man, my first date, give you guys a little testimony, with my wife, it was a lunch date. And we went to Wingstop. Okay. It wasn't so much the place, it was more about the environment, to be able to have a conversation, to break bread, and to kind of see what each other was about. And that was a good lunch date. I say that because neither one of us invested too much time or too much money in that. And at the end of the day, if it wouldn't have been, a good vibe, a good encounter, I could have said, you know what? Well, that was only a lunch date. She could have said, well, you know what? I only gave him 45 minutes of my time. Okay. But look at where we're at today. I want to talk to you about a list that's currently going around. And then number one on the list is the Cheesecake Factory. We see that this woman rebels against this man and does not want to submit, even though he's trying to provide, her an opportunity. Okay. It says, here is a list of women. Here is a list of places women absolutely refuse to go on a first date to. And thank you to the ladies who reached out to me to help me on this list. Let me tell you something. This list got some places, and I'm here today to tell you that if you are a woman and you are focused more on the place than the actual spirit and character in a man, you're going to struggle. You are going to struggle. Okay. Number one, Cheesecake Factory. Okay. That's a pretty, that's not a cheap place. I'm not going to say it's expensive either, but it's not cheap. Second is Applebee's. Okay. They got specials, things like that. 3 is Chili's. 4 is Chipotle. 5 is Olive Garden. 6, the movies. 7, your house. This is a list of first date places. Now check this out. Back when I was living like a heathen, oh yeah, I was trying to get you to come to my house for a first date. I'd make a little food and then we was going to sin. I was going to try to get you to err. So I honestly agree with that one. Okay. Verse 8, any fast food chain. Verse 9, 9, Buffalo Wild Wings. 10, Wingstop. Crazy. Met my wife there. We've been going strong. 11, Red Lobster. 12, a buffet. 13, IHOP. 14, Denny's. 15, the gym. 16, church. Man, this is on their list. So, sisters out here, when it comes to courting, when it comes to dating, your flesh is going to want one thing, but Yah is giving you a different set of instructions. Now, a lot of these sisters that have come up with this list have probably have been to a lot of these places, and they never thought about discerning the spirit in these men. Discerning the spirit in these men. It's not about the place you're going to as a woman. It's more about an opportunity. Okay, let me see through conversation and action how this man carries himself. Am I sitting across from a plum fool? Okay, does this man honor the Most High Yah with his lips, but I don't see the fruit of that. And in order to be able to discern this, something's got to be right in you as a woman. You need to be following the Most High Yah. You must have been brought up in it, trained something, learn, study. Men out here, the same thing. Man, if you are desiring to take, a woman to Olive Garden, okay, Buffalo Wild Wings, Cheesecake Factory, Applebee's, Chili, it's not about where you're taking her. It's showing her, okay, I can pay for myself and pay for you. In exchange, she's giving you some conversation. You can discern the spirit in her. You're going to tell by the way she carries herself. Does she carry herself like a meek and modest woman? Does this woman in conversation at least have the general respect for you as a man? Or does she resemble more of a Jezebel, a harlot, a Delilah, a Proverbs 5? This is all what it is. But when you're living sinful as a man, what are you doing? You're thinking about, okay, I'm going to take her here, and if I can wine and dine her enough, I'm going to get to clap cheeks. That's what you think. You ain't thinking about no duty whatsoever of fulfilling to that woman. And this is why I'm addressing this, okay? Today, I'm here to tell you, when we look at this, you can tell that Eve was not into Adam, nor was Adam her type. Okay? She had the opportunity to obey her covering, which the Most High Yah, her sole purpose was to be a helper to Adam. But when the serpent came and said, I could make you a goddess, you could be wise, you could be a wise woman, but you ain't going to be able to listen to the Most High Yah or your man. Adam was not Eve's type. 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 14 through 15. I will therefore let the younger women marry, bear children, guide the house, give none occasion to the adversary to speak reproachfully. For some are already turned aside after Satan. Listen to this. This is 15. For some are already turned aside after Hasatan. So think about men and women out here, parents, if you got kids, even in your own life, when you left home, what was your desires? Were you leaving home to fulfill righteousness, to live righteous, or had you already turned aside after Satan? And I'm going to take this verse and go completely backwards with it. Man, I will tell you, when I left home, I was given the adversary every occasion to speak reproachfully. Even though I was working, I had a job, man, that's not working and having a job is not what's going to get you to the kingdom. That's not what's going to lead to, righteous prosperity. Okay? This is an instruction to younger women. The problem we having is a lot of younger women are not getting taught this. They're getting told, hey, you need to go out to college. You need to do X, Y, and Z. And then what happens? They give the adversary every occasion to speak reproachfully. You go into these colleges, being a part of fraternities, all this idolatry, and what happens is sexual immorality, fornication. Guess who gets stuck with the baby? You didn't have the spirit of the Most High Yah in you to be able to discern that maybe I need to keep to myself. And if I am going to school, let me focus on this. Let's talk about how many sisters go to these colleges, don't leave with a degree, but leave with some kids. Leave with some kids. came there with some kids. I will therefore that the younger women marry, bear children, guide the house, give none occasion to the adversary to speak reproachfully. Man, today's culture would call this type of woman that has this desire a pick me. And that's a doggone shame. That's a shame. Proverbs chapter 13, verse 4. The soul of the sluggard craves and gets nothing, with the soul, while the soul of the diligent is richly supplied. Man, we have a lot of men that refuse to labor 5 days a week. Woo! Refuse to labor 5 days a week. And guess what's on the back of their mind? Laying pipe. Laying pipe. Just sluggard. Far from what the word says. Man, as men of the Most High, y'all, we should be desiring to get 6 days of work in. That's a good work, a righteous work, and resting on the seventh. The soul of the sluggard, lazy, craves and gets nothing. You sitting up, thinking about, I want this, I want that, I deserve this. You didn't have an entitled mindset as a man. A lot of women will see that as confident. At least he knows what he wants. And as a woman, you would be the fool to fall for a sluggard man. Man, it's recently, it came across the media that women were saying they don't want a man with a 9-to-5. And I said, dang, a 9-to-5, that's a good work, because I'd rather have a 9-to-5 than to be considered a sluggard. And today, man, I'm going, when it comes to the men, it's going to be some jabs over here. When it comes to the sisters, it's going to be some jabs over here. How many sisters do we know that have laid up with a sluggard man, a lazy man? He might look good. He might give you all the validation you want, but he's also doing that to everybody else, all the other women. He's dropping dick off on all the other sisters out there. And you wonder why your life is in shambles. You wonder why you feel the responsibility like you always got to take care of this man and tell him what to do. That's because in the choices we making and who we're entertaining, we're living out of order. Okay? Proverbs chapter 15, verse 19. The way of the sluggard is like a hedge of thorns, but the path of the upright is a level highway. Man, men out here, you can be on an upright path, and I want to tell you that you got to be patient. You got to be patient. Finding a wife is a process. You just can't give up, because when you give up, what you're getting, chances are, is going to be an unrighteous woman. But you need to be praying to the Most High, Yah. Man, show me a sign. If I'm not seeing it, if my flesh is causing me not to see it, show me through the wisdom of your word what I need to be focused on. I'm giving you part of that today. Same thing, sisters out here. Most High, Yah, you know what my flesh craves, but that's not what I need. Next time I come across one of these jokers, give me that strong rebuke, that strong reminder, say, hey, this joke is not no good for me. This is not no good for me. Man, when you sit across from a man or a woman and you're asking about their qualities, their attributes, you're asking them what they're looking for in a man or a woman, they're going to tell you either they've got something focused on righteousness or they got something where righteousness is nowhere on their radar. Okay? You, as a man, what was I looking for? Man, I was looking for a woman with, nice body, big old booty, nice breasts, nice lips, nice legs, all of this nonsense that has nothing to do with righteousness. Nothing to do with righteousness. I want her to have, hair down to the doggone flow. And as a man, you don't care if it's false or fake, false or fake. And David said, I hate every false way. As a woman, you be like, man, I want a man that's, 6'2", make 150,000, drive an expensive car, a man that, spoil me, treat me like the princess that I am. This is the kind of nonsense that people is talking about today, sitting across from somebody thinking that that's going to lead them somewhere righteous. And through their own mouth, they'll tell you they ain't looking for nothing righteous. Nothing righteous at all. Proverbs chapter 19, verse 15. Slothfulness cast into a deep sleep, and an idle person will suffer from hunger. Man, I don't know. I feel for the sisters out here that entertain these men. And this is why I say I hope this message, can reach somebody today. Man, I sympathize with these sisters out here that ignorantly choose these men that don't want to work. These men that think that they too good to work, but they will have the woman going out here doing what the man is supposed to do. Man, that's a painful life as a woman. And don't add in the mix if you got some kids by this. You got a man want to be a stay-at-home dad and don't want to provide the way that the Most High Yah has said. You got women out there dealing with that. And furthermore, you got these men that's prideful, but they ain't nothing more than sloths, plum fool. Proverbs chapter 20, verse 4. The sluggard does not plow in the autumn. He will seek at harvest and have nothing. Let me tell you something. If I would have continued on the journey I was on before being born again, I would have had nothing. I would have been laying pipe everywhere, sinning, immorality. That would have been the environment that I created for myself. At the end of the day, I was working a job. I had a good career. I might have had material things, but I wouldn't have had a family. I wouldn't have had a righteous household. Wouldn't have had it because I didn't sow anything righteous. All I sowed was foolishness and sin. Proverbs chapter 18, verse 2. A fool takes no pleasure in understanding, but only in expressing his opinion. Sisters, listen up. There's a lot of fools out there. There are a lot of plum fools out there. And they don't care nothing about understanding. They're not submitted to nobody. And they live pridefully in unlawlessness. And they're going to tell you what is their opinion. And you may know better, but your choices are going to prove whether you are a fool as a woman or whether you're a wise woman. Man, I see that that man don't receive understanding. That man don't receive, when I see him going through stuff and I try to help him based upon what I know according to the word, he don't want to hear. That's giving you an example that's a plum fool. Proverbs chapter 29, verse 11. A fool gives full vent to his spirit, but a wise man quietly holds it back. This is what we need to be doing. A lot of this stuff that all of this stuff that the Most High Yah tells us, instructs us to do is not up for debate. This is what the righteous should be doing. We shouldn't want to be in the category of a fool. And then you have, at some point in my life, before I became born again, I was an emotional man. Full vent to the spirit that was in me. And it was wicked at the time. Okay, Proverbs chapter 28, verse 26. Whoever trusts in his own mind is a fool. We got men out here that think that you can live lawless and the Most High Yah is going to bless you with a woman that's rare, a woman that's righteous. You can't make that make sense. You can't do everything against the word of Yah and think that he's going to reward you for your iniquities. But he who walks in wisdom will be delivered. That's what I'm hoping for. Some man or some woman out there that's struggling. Everything that I'm hitting on, at some point of their life they've experienced and they say, you know what? I want something different. I want something righteous. You know what I'm saying? I want something that's everlasting. Whoever trusts in his own mind is a fool. These women that came up with this doggone list, fool, plum fool. Women that are coming across men that are giving them an opportunity and they're blowing these men off, not knowing you may never get another opportunity. You may never get a joker to come across or to be in your presence that works as hard as that man that works a 9 to 5, but you blew him off because you saw him in a garbage truck. That man had the attributes, ultimately you need as a woman, but you blew them off, leaning on your own mind. You looked at this woman who was a pure, meek, and modest, and said, "Yeah, she cover up too much. I don't like her. She don't have no style. She don't have her breast out. She don't have her butt out. Whoever trusts in his own mind is a fool." Okay. Proverbs chapter 14, verse 7-8. Leave the presence of a fool. Leave the presence of a fool. We got some foolish men and women. I done been one of them. That's how I know this stuff. I done been one of them. For there you do not meet words of knowledge. A fool is not going to give you no knowledge. They don't have no knowledge of righteousness. The wisdom of the prudent is to discern his way. So here, that's a great one, because when you're out here leaning on your own mind, trying to, articulate what it is you want in a man or a woman, think about, is that what Yah expects in a man or a woman? Either your expectations, are righteous, or they're not. Proverbs 14:16. One who is wise is cautious and turns away from evil, but a fool is reckless and careless. Man, it takes two to tango. A sinner is going to get the portion of a wicked woman. The godly woman is going to be a reward for him that fears Yah. No doubt about it. Proverbs 13:20. Whoever walks with the wise becomes wise, but the companion of fools will suffer harm. Sisters, I'm here today to tell you that you might not be able to run with a whole bunch of women, especially if they're not righteous. You'd be better off by yourself. Better off by yourself. Sometimes it's the women that you entertain that the man that you possibly, would be good for you, righteous for you, he sees who you hanging around and say, nope, but the companion of fools will suffer harm. And likewise, brothers out here, you got to quit desiring these harlots. You can't be sitting up there watching Nicki Minaj, watching doggone Megan Thee Stallion, watching all these foolish women and lusting after them, because when you out and about, that's how you're going to be moving. That's what your flesh wants. You're not going to get anything righteous out of that, especially if it's not the word if it doesn't line up with the word of the Most High Yah. Proverbs chapter 10, verse 8. The wise of heart will receive commandments, but a babbling fool will continue to ruin. Think about that. Before I started keeping the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High Yah, plumb fool. I was. Talk a good game, talk a woman out her drawers. Out of her drawers. Nothing but babbling, wickedness. Didn't want to receive the commandments. Somebody would told me about, keeping the Sabbath and all that. I would be like, hey, no, I'm going to the mall, find me some clothes, give me some shoes, go to the car wash the car. I'm going out tonight, baby. Friday and Saturday. What? No, heck no. Wouldn't want to hear it. I was on a path of destruction. Romans chapter 12, verse 2. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing, man, it ain't about the cheesecake. It ain't about the Applebee's appetizers. It's not about the doggone sour cream at Chipotle. It's about discerning and testing the spirit in somebody. Challenging password. But you got to have something discerning in you. You got to have the Ruach of the Most High upon you to be able to even try to do this. What is the will of Yah? What is good and acceptable and perfect? How you sitting up entertaining a man, got his pants off his butt, showing you that he's lawless. Like the list can go on. You can see how many times have we heard a woman say all the red flags was there? Or man, you saying, I knew she wasn't no good, but you still sit up there and entertained her or entertained him. Somebody is showing you that they're conformed to the world, lovers of this world, that they're an enemy to Yah, but in your mind, you think you deserve something righteous. You got a lot of men and women out here don't even know what a good man or woman is. Just listen to them. Don't even know what a good man or woman is. It says, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Man, you're going to come across some of these men and women that's prideful. Minds have not been renewed, and they think they're the best thing since sliced bread, and they're going to wreck your life. And that's why you must discern the spirit in them. And to make sure, is the spirit in them good and acceptable and perfect to the Most High Yah? Or do they got a foolish spirit about them? Am I going to let this man that's a plumb fool doing all of this stuff, that joker don't want to work. I got to tell him to go to work. He want to try to be a rapper. He want to try to sell drugs. That joker, trying to follow his dreams instead of getting there just working a job. Entertaining somebody like that and wondering why your life is a struggle. Men out here, hey, we do the same thing. You would try to wife up somebody you met in a strip club and be all emotional because she entertained other men. Look where you met her. Man, I see this stuff all the time, especially in the military. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8. Be sober-minded, be watchful. Your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour. Man, you got to know if you are on the right side of the law, the adversary is going to try to put somebody in front of you that's going to be false. And you have to be able to discern their falseness. You trying to pass this off as real, but that ain't doggone. Man, I saw a post on Facebook where this woman was like, these days, everything real offends people, but they accept everything fake. And when I look at the profile picture, I said, oh no. They're trying to deceive everybody out here. You got to be able to discern. Got to be able to discern. And you got to have a righteous ruach upon you to do so. But the woman that posted that, we talking about fake hair, fake eyelashes, fake nails, face full of makeup. Who are you to be talking about what's real? But we are listening to what comes out of somebody's mouth or what they say, and we don't discern nothing past that. Oh, they said it might be good. Most of y'all's not buying that from men and women. If you fake and you phony and you false, he's not buying that. He knows what's in your heart. And we think that just because we're at a good point in our life, the devil's not sending somebody to try to devour us. This is why you want somebody righteous on you in your corner as a man or a woman. 1 John chapter 2, verse 16. For all that is in the world, for the desires of the flesh and the desires of the eyes and pride of life is not from the Father, but is from the world. Think about when people will be talking about, well, this is what I want in a woman. This is what I want as a man. Chances are it's of the world. It's the desires of the flesh, the desire of the eyes, and the pride of life. I tell you, man, when I was younger, man, I didn't care whether a woman knew 2 + 2. All she had to do would be fine in my eyes, which was nothing more than the lust of the flesh. And then what was I doing? I would take a woman who I'm thinking we supposed to be successful in a relationship and be like, we going to the club tonight in front of all my boys and be like, yeah, I got a bad one. No, I was a plum fool leading the fool. All of this stuff before we're born again and walking upright and learning how to walk upright is nothing more than the desires of the flesh and the desires of the eyes. This is why it's all vanity. We shouldn't be focused on it. Man, I tell you, after all of the foolishness that I've been a part, I'm going to tell you something. The world might call the woman that I discern and choose has a righteous spirit in her, they might say she's a 3 through a 5. The world might be focused on a doggone a woman that's a 9 or a 10 in their own eyes, the desires of their flesh, and she might be a woman that will lead you to Sheol. if you foolish enough to follow. Man, we got to reverse this thing. You know, make sure that we're taking a stance and we're doing the right thing. Man, we cannot call ourselves Israel if we're just consistently as men choosing to live like Solomon, choosing the type of women that Solomon was choosing. Solomon went overboard. Solomon just didn't find him one good woman and say, you know what, that's enough. Solomon went after all of the doggone worldly women. Think about how that relates to you in your life. And then he got rebuked for it. These women led him to serve other idols. Think about right now, we got this movement called the Passport Bros. But think about how many men is going to get pulled further into idolatry because they haven't returned to the covenant, but yet they're looking for a meek, modest, respectful woman, going elsewhere where they serve all other kind of deities. It's bad alone that in this country we live in is full of idolatry with people that say that they know him, men and women that claim to have a relationship with him. So be mindful, brothers out there that's moving like that. Chances are, if you're not moving righteously, your reward is not going to be righteous. Genesis chapter 2, verse 24. Therefore, a man shall leave his father and mother, and he shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. I definitely didn't do that one. Nope. Didn't know nothing about this. It wasn't until coming into the knowledge of the Most High Yah that I learned, like, dang, this is what I was supposed to be doing. And it really made me think, like, man, I had all these religious people around me that did not care about, the matters concerning my soul. How many folks will sit down with their doggone, their kids and teach this? How many will teach their daughters this? Hey, when you out here looking for a man, they'll make it seem like, oh, this joker 19, still living with his parents. Oh, that joker's a dud. But wait a minute. What if this man has stayed, with his parents because there's no reason for him to leave yet? Therefore shall a man leave his father and mother and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. Man, they'll make you seem like you lame, you a dud, you a simp. But you got good men that's generally waiting, out there trying to doggone find and selectively choose a woman. And these women cross, you 19, you 20, you step, busted, dusty, bye-bye. I tell you, when I left home, my will was to make some money, to bag a whole bunch of women, and to have a career for myself. That was it. Nothing righteous. And to get 12 off my back, get the police off my back for the stuff that I was doing, being a son of perdition. And here's the thing. A lot of the women that I was entertaining, they was easily deceived. Nobody prepped them for the game that I was kicking, the falsehood that I was kicking, talking them out of their draws. Ecclesiasticus chapter 7, verse 25. Marry thy daughter, and so shalt thou have performed a weighty matter, but give her to a man of understanding. Man, there needs to be the evidence that this is a man of understanding. And this is where Western culture is nowhere in line with the will of the Most High Yah. Right now, we got a plethora of women that leave home when they're youthful, don't want to be married, don't want to bear children, don't want to guide the house, want to give the adversary every occasion to speak reproachfully. And then once you then wrapped up all these bodies, had all these spirits attached to you, then had all these doggone kids, now all of a sudden you want somebody to pay a virgin's price for you. Man, as a woman out here, you yourself are going to have to be patient. A lot of women have settled for plum fools, but now because they can't get the kind of man in their own mind that they deserve, they think they settling if they settle for a man that work a 9 to 5. And you didn't settle for all these drug dealers, these low-life fool jokers. Marry thy daughter, and so shalt thou have performed a weighty matter. But give her to a man of understanding. Don't give her away to no fool and just be like, well, I didn't perform the weighty matter. Give her away to a man of understanding. A man of understanding what? Computers? Auto mechanics? No, give her way to a man that understands righteousness, the ways of the Most High Yah, so he don't lead her astray. Ecclesiasticus chapter 15, verse 1. He that feareth the Lord will do good, and he that have knowledge of the law shall obtain her. That her is talking about wisdom. He that feareth the Lord will do good, and he that have knowledge of the law shall obtain her. Women out here, daughters of Zion, this is what you need to be desiring. This stuff need to be at the top of your list. Because let me tell you something. When you done had 2, 3, 4 kids by this man that looked good, got some doggone, he always dropping some pipe off on you, but your life is in shambles. You know, y'all don't have nothing together righteously. You're miserable because he ain't leading you nowhere. Look at what you wanted. Look at what you wanted. You wanted a man with swagger. You wanted a man with style. You wanted a man with a nice hairline. Like all this stuff that don't have nothing to do with righteousness, and you wonder why you're struggling. Same thing, man. You sit up and entertain a doggone Jezebel. It shows you don't have no fear of the Most High Yah in you. Proverbs chapter 31, verse 30. Charm is deceitful, beauty is vain, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Man, I would tell you when I was 18, 19, you know, even 23 when I was married the first time. I'm on my second marriage. Man, I didn't want nothing to do with this. Charm ain't deceitful to me. Beauty ain't vain to me. Like I could out wisdom the Most High Yah. Instead of a woman that fears the Lord, a meek and modest woman, a woman that don't want to buck up to you. This is the choices that we make because we not, you know, choosing nobody righteous. Righteous man or woman is not our type. Proverbs chapter 12, verse 4. An excellent wife is the crown of her husband. An excellent wife. Just because you're a wife, that don't make you excellent. But she who brings shame is like a rottenness in his bones. See how the Most High Yah give you, he'll flip it 180 on you. You got the righteous and then you got the unrighteous. 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 9 through 10. Likewise, also that women should adorn themselves in respectable apparel. Man, it wasn't until returning to the covenant that I learned this stuff. And you look at what is getting taught on Sunday Sun worship. They're not teaching this. They're not teaching this. Likewise, also that the women should adorn themselves in respectable apparel. All I knew was I had a woman sitting across from me that was saying that she was respectable and I should respect her, but I didn't know how to discern whether she respected herself or feared the Most High Yah with modesty and self-control. Listen to this. I'm entertaining women that hear a song in like Chili's or wherever we eating at will bust out twerking and I'm thinking it's cool. I'm like, oh yeah, it's on tonight. It's on tonight. Not with braided hair or gold or pearls or costly attire. I wasn't going after no simple woman, but with what is proper for a woman, for women who profess godliness with good works. Man, that's what we should be, brothers out here. I'm here to tell you that chances are you've probably came across a woman who you said, nah, she's not my type. And this woman, the reason you said she wasn't your type, because that type was based upon the desires of your flesh. But righteously, like you would have been at a great starting point if you would have had the same confidence to approach this woman like the same manner in which you approach these harlots and these 304s and all of this stuff. You've probably already experienced her. You probably know who she is. It's talking about women who profess godliness, a woman with good works. Man, you're not gonna choose what the world tells you is the standard for a woman, completely disregard what the Most High Yah says is a standard for a woman, and think that you're gonna come out with something righteous on the back end. Doesn't work like that. Doesn't work like that. And vice versa goes for women with men. You can't choose these men who you in your mind, you want a corporate thug. You want a man with a criminal record, a man that like rap on the side, man that then sold a little dope, but all of a sudden he like a CEO of Nike or something, or Apple. It's with keep on waiting. Keep on waiting. Ecclesiasticus chapter 5, verse 2. Follow not thine own mind and thy strength to walk in the ways of the heart. How many times people here say, I'm following my heart? How you know something right is in your heart? How you know it's not a wicked spirit in your heart? Ecclesiasticus chapter 5, verse 3. And say not, who shall control me for my works? For the Lord will surely revenge thy pride. Man, we are in a daytime and hour where women are desiring nothing more than a man that will acquiesce and capitulate and bow down and worship them while they go out and work, come home, tell you what to do. And we see that in the last days, man, women and children are going to oppress men. Just prideful women, high-minded and haughty, like the word says the daughters of Zion were. Okay? Ecclesiasticus chapter 5, verse 8. Set not thine heart upon goods unjustly gotten, for they shall not profit thee in the day of calamity. Man, you got a bunch of men and women right now getting caught up in all kind of scams. You looking at their lifestyle and you like, man, they done well for themselves. Man, he got his head on his shoulders. She got his head on her shoulders. We're looking at a whole bunch of women that's getting arrested for PPP loan scams. All kind of scams. Same with men. It's a whole bunch. I can't think of the county. I want to say it's Broward County, but they had a whole bunch of police officers, sheriffs in the sheriff department get arrested for PPP loan scamming. And you looking at these people like, man, they got a good job. They this, she's on her way. People out here scamming to try to live a life of the world instead of being content. This is the stuff you got to look at when you are entertaining somebody. A lot of women don't care about how a man makes his money. They don't care. That man could be a kingpin. He do this. You even get out there and help the joker be Frank Lucas. And then when the things hit the fan, yeah, I knew he wasn't no good. Well, if you knew he wasn't no good, how come you didn't do better? For they shall not profit thee in the day of calamity. Ecclesiasticus chapter 6, verse 18. Let's see what a man of understanding looks like. My son, gather instruction from thy youth up, so shalt thou find wisdom till thine old age. Man, you need to be looking as a man or a woman. You need to be patient for somebody that's been taught righteousness. You're only gonna find that from somebody that's returned to the covenant. You only gonna find that in Israel. You're not finding nobody, the whole of this book, you're not finding nobody that fits that bill unless they have returned to the covenant. Think about this world that we in that's overtaken by heathen. Think about where we've been scattered to and how they want us to follow the ways of Egypt or Misraim. My son, gather instruction from the youth up. Man, my grandfather was a strong man, second degree black belt, taught me a lot. But one thing truthfully I can say that he did not teach me was righteousness. Maybe nobody taught him. My grandfather was a man that grew up without his father, grew up around a bunch of women, so he did the best that he could. But we got to do better. As men. This is our time to make righteous choices. Man, it must suck as a man or a woman to plant seed in somebody wicked, or to let somebody wicked birth your child, and you got to deal with the pain and misery that your kids go through because righteous was never your type. Ecclesiasticus chapter 9, verse 1 through 12. Be not jealous over the wife of thy bosom, and teach her not an evil lesson against herself, against thyself. Man, as a man, you're supposed to be leading her somewhere righteously. You shouldn't be leading her to foolishness. Women out here, how many of y'all want a man that will just let you do whatever you want and go abroad? A lot of women want a man like that. A man that don't want to give them correction, don't want to give them instruction. They don't want no man to rule over them. You want a man that won't teach you some more foolishness. And that's why at the end of the day, you're chasing this world, talking about self-happiness, self-love, graduating marriage, and you ain't getting nowhere with it. You're only finding misery. Every choice that you make rebelling against Yah, you find misery. Verse 2, give not thy soul unto a woman to set her foot upon thy substance. And this is what we're seeing today. Look at Tyrese and his ex-wife. Give not thy soul unto a woman to set her foot upon thy substance. First off, hey, you got to be submitted to your covering as a man. Hamashiach, that's who you need to be found. That's the perfect example that the Most High Yah gave you. But what do a lot of men do? Bow down at the feet of a woman. Start worshiping her, another form of idolatry. Ecclesiasticus chapter 9, verse 8 through 9. Turn away thine eye from a beautiful woman, and look not upon another's beauty, for many have been deceived by the beauty of a woman. For herewith love is kindled as fire. You gonna think it's love. You looking at him like, man, she's so fine. Ooh, I got a bad one. You thinking it's love, and it's really, really fire that's finna test you. Many have been deceived by the beauty of a woman. Let me tell you what, the meek and quiet spirit that's in a righteous woman, that's not there to deceive you. Woo! That's your reward for being a man that fears the Most High Yah and keeps his commandment. But all that other stuff that's vain in beauty, oh yeah, that'll deceive you. When she doggone take all that crap off in the middle of the night and you see her raw and pure, you wonder why you got Freddie Jackson up there and she don't have no meek and quiet spirit. Look like Samuel Jackson. Women, you need to be careful because men is out here wearing these man weaves and stuff now. You sitting up joking and talked your ear off, validated you, and you like, oh yes, he's my type. He's my type. You up here saying all kind of fool stuff. The Most High Yah must have sent this man to me. You lay down and fornicate with this man, commit all kind of sin. You catch that joker at the grocery store, he look like Uncle Ruckus. That man weave, he in between hairstyles. And you acting like you don't know nobody all of a sudden. Come on now. Come on. Verse 9, sit not at all with another man's wife. You ain't gonna never prosper like that. You know, you got men out there that want to be the side dude. Well, somebody else can deal with her at home. I just want the booty. You's a plumb fool. Sit not at all with another man's wife, nor sit down with her in thine arms, and spend not thine money with her at the wine, lest thine heart incline unto her, and so thy desires thou fall into destruction. You're not just finna escape scot-free. Ecclesiasticus chapter 11, verse 2. Commend not a man for his beauty, neither arbor a man for his outward appearance. Think about that, man. We in a generation of men that think that they alpha, think that they sigma, according to the world. And it all has to do with vain beauty. Vain beauty. If you don't, they be saying something, if you don't got your ears up right, you ain't got your body looking like this, all of this nonsense. If you don't drive this kind of car, you beta. That's the kind of nonsense that they spewing for our young men right now. And our young men is getting sucked up into it. This word say, commend not a man for his beauty. Women out here, you shouldn't want no doggone beautiful man. You shouldn't want to look at a man in his appearance, hands soft as butter, but you expecting a hard worker. You expecting a protector, and that joker sitting up with makeup and mascara and all kind of stuff on. These jokers is doing nowadays. A joker that care more about his skincare than following the will of Yah. I don't care if your face look like a baby's butt as a man. If you have rebelled against the Most High Yah and haven't repented for it and walked in His ways, you as good as gone. Good as gone. But this is all the kind of stuff that the world is spinning off as what folk need to be doing. Ecclesiastes chapter 11 verse 4. Boast not of thy clothing and raiment, and exalt not thyself in the day of honor, for the works of the Lord are wonderful, and his works among men are hidden. See, a lot of sisters out here will entertain men that are good, but because these men aren't boasting about what they have, what they've done, you see these men as lame, and you're missing over somebody. What happens? You go out and you find somebody that's boasting about, yeah, I got this and I got that, and you like, well, the joker got some money, so I'm good. Check. And then here's the path of destruction right there. His works among men are hidden. Man, you're not gonna be able to look at a joke. You might look at a joker in Lowe's that's got some boots on. You know, he dirty. You might be looking at him, oh, he dusty. Not knowing that, man, that man will build you a house. Not knowing that you should be submitted to the Messiah in him. Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 20. Men and women, you're going to have a lot of opportunities. Not every opportunity is going to be righteous. Be mindful of this when you dating. Just because she's throwing it at you don't mean you need to be catching it. Just because she's throwing it don't mean you need to be catching it. Same thing, sister. Just because these men is trying to give it away and they got every other aspect of their life that you don't even really know what their life should be looking like, just because they want to give it down and they making you feel something. Hey, observe the opportunity and beware of evil and be not ashamed when it concerneth thy soul. Man, you walk away from one of these Western women that's got that Western mindset, you shouldn't be ashamed. Woo, I'm glad I escaped that one. Same thing, women. You escaping one of these plum fools. Woo, miss me with that one. Miss me with that one. Proverbs chapter 19, verse 14. House and wealth are inherited from fathers, but a prudent wife is from the Lord. A prudent wife. That's a wife that thinks about the future. She's not thinking about what can I get now. She's not thinking, she ain't selfish, self-centered. Well, what about me? What about what I want? What about my happiness? Man, you can't be a prudent wife if you're selfish. If you want to do all this self-love and chase this happiness, you was never submitted to the will of your husband, to the will of your man. Never will be until you born again. Most High Yah make you a new creation. Proverbs chapter 31, verse 3. Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways with destroy kings. Think about that. Think about that. Give not thy strength unto women. This is for the men that worship women and for women that want men to bow down to them. Man, you will destroy a man. It was never the will of Yah for a woman to lead a man. Never. Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to which destroy king. Let me tell you something. Are we not seeing Eve rebel and enter into a relationship with Hasatan? And we look at where the modern woman is today, still in that same doggone wicked ass relationship. Men, you don't have no business worshiping no woman, following the leader no woman. No, that's your rightful place. You sit up and this woman might be entertaining you for the moment, but at some point you're going to get shamed. She won't respect you. Women, you're getting the short end of the stick by thinking that you should be the one leading. You're going to lead him and you to some foolishness. Proverbs chapter 5, verse 3 through 5. For the lips of the strange woman drop is honeycomb and her mouth is smoother than oil. Men out here, some of these women got the gift of gab too. You ain't the only one. You ain't the only one. Some of these women will be just walking vain in beauty, you not knowing they carrying a host of STDs on you. For the lips of the woman drop as honeycomb and her mouth is smoother than oil, but her end is bitter as wormwood. Look at what we see today in the media, and look at what these jokers is dealing with. But her end is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. That's gonna be some division in the end. Somebody gonna get cut. Her feet go down to death. It don't say eternal life. Her steps take hold on hell. Her steps lead to Sheol. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 7. Likewise, husbands, live with your wives in an understanding way, showing honor to the woman as the weaker vessel, since they are heirs with you of the grace of life, so that your prayers may not be hindered. When you think about that right there, man, you have to be a man of understanding of righteousness to understand the shortcomings that women deal with ever since Eve. That's the only way, like, you're going to be able to get them to understand, okay, got it. I understand you want to do this, but let me give you some different outcomes of how this could happen. For one, you could do it your way, and this could be the outcome. I'm telling you as your husband, that's not the best choice you should make. But free will is yours. You make that doggone choice, you're going to accept all the blame. The Most High Yah and you having a covering never intended for you to catch all the blame, for you to catch all the doggone reproach, to be guilty. But if you follow my will, guess who get the blame? And this outcome, this choice could lead to a better outcome. That's how you have to break this thing down to them, because if not, pride is going to enter in. You're going to get all that, who you telling to do, and all this nonsense. You have to break out these courses of action. So when they are, doing as thou will, and they start to realize, dang, that man of understanding told me this crap was going to happen, they'll return to their doggone covering. Return to the covenant that they made with you. You only are in good grace when you stay within the parameters of the covenant. Grace don't extend to you. That's mercy. That's the mercy of the Most High Yah that lets you continue to be a fool, hoping that you will reach repentance. Proverbs chapter 21, verse 19. It's better to live in a desert land than with a quarrelsome and fretful woman. Let me tell you something, man. If you had known she was a fretful and quarrelsome woman, what would you have? Would you have walked down took this journey with her, or would you have avoided her? Man, there's some things as a man you need to be able to discern in a woman to be able to see this. At some point in the beginning, she showed you signs that she was contentious, that she was rebellious, that she was lawless. Possibly what attracted you to her was her lawlessness. It was a wicked spirit in you that doggone was attracted to the wicked spirit in her. Proverbs chapter 18, verse 22. He who finds a wife finds a good thing. He who finds a wife or woman finds a good thing. For one, when you find a wife that has the attributes and the qualities that the Most High Yah says she should have, man, you are truly free from sexual immorality, fornication, and adultery. You don't have to worry about that. But a lot of women that men have chosen, they haven't found a good thing. They didn't found the wickedness in a woman. They haven't obtained any favor. 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1 through 6. But understand this, in the last days, there will come times of difficulty. For people will be lovers of self, lovers of money, proud, arrogant, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, heartless, unappeasable, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not loving good, treacherous, reckless, swollen with conceit, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of Yah, having the appearance of godliness, but denying its power. Avoid such people. Men, let me tell you something. I would tell you to be, just because a woman goes to church, man, you need to discern the spirit up in her. Man, the church is become a breeding place for all kind of abominations just like the same abominations they were committing in the temple back then. It's even worse now. So you, just because she claims to be a Christian, she claimed to be all this stuff with her lips, do you see the evidence of righteousness upon her? Same thing, women. It's telling us what we're going to experience in the last days. If these men that you're entertaining fit into this category, hey, you need to be good as gone. Because don't be surprised when you hit yourself and enter into an agreement with a man that's, completely lawless, but yet you thinking that the Most High Yah is going to bless you. Your wicked choice, his wicked lifestyle, and you think y'all supposed to be blessed. Verse 6, for among them are those who creep into houses and capture weak women, burdened with sins and led astray by various paths. That was me. That was me. You let me up in, I'm telling you, man, I did a video a while back about things women need to avoid on the first date. If you had your own plate, my favorite line was, can I use your bathroom? Soon as I get up in that house, I'm complimenting, oh man, this is really nice. I like what you done to the place. You got good taste. All of this stuff, all was a ploy to talk somebody's drawers off. It says, for among them are those who creep into households and capture weak women, burdened with sins and led astray by various paths. I had various passions. And I was trying to doggone find somebody to commit this sin with me. But as a man, I had to lead somebody astray first. Man, Ecclesiastes chapter 25, verse 13. Give me any plague but the plague of heart, and any wickedness but the wickedness of a woman. A lot of men going to find out on the back end that because of the life that they live, that's why they got to deal with this in a woman. Ecclesiastes chapter 25, verse 16. I hath rather dwell with a lion and a dragon to keep a house with a wicked woman. Ecclesiastes chapter 25, verse 19. All wickedness but is little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. Men out here, that's your wake-up call right there. Just because you say, I'm saved and I accept, what they tell you to say in church, that repeat after me, does not mean you're going to get a godly woman, a woman that fears the Most High Yah. No, you have to be a doer of the word. You need to be living righteous. You know how many fools going to go into Sunday Sun worship tomorrow and say this repeat after me phrase, and not 30 minutes after they done said it, they ain't produced no righteous fruit, but think they entitled to a righteous woman. Ecclesiastes chapter 25, verse 21 through 26. Stumble not at the beauty of a woman. What happens? Before you born again and the Most High Yah and renewed your mind as a man, you see a beautiful woman, you start stumbling your words, dropping stuff, fumbling whatever you got, and desire her not for pleasure. Desire her not for pleasure. Why? You should be desiring to cover her, to lead her. Lead her somewhere righteous. Verse 22, a woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger, impudence, and much reproach. Man, you don't need to be sitting up on no couch with no woman talking about she the breadwinner, she make all the money and all of this nonsense. Because if she's taking care of you, well, she's going to be full of anger, impudence, and much reproach. Verse 23, a wicked woman abate courage, make heavy countenance and a wounded heart. A woman that will not comfort her husband is in distress, make weak hands and feeble knees. Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. Give water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to go abroad. That's what a lot of sisters want. They want a man that will just do everything that they think he's supposed to do, but just let them go out and commit all kind of foolishness and abominations. This is what the word says, verse 26. If she go not as thou would have her, cut her off from thy flesh and give her a bill of divorce and let her go. Man, a lot of women that we entertained early on in our youth, we said we had no business entertaining. We wasn't no good for them. They wasn't no good for us. It was equally yoked in foolishness. Ecclesiastes chapter 26, verse 1 through 3. Blessed is the man who has a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be doubled. When you don't have a virtuous wife, oh, you be like, man, boy, when is this gonna be over? You be saying all kind of stuff. A virtuous woman rejoice her husband, and he shall fulfill the years of his life in peace. Women, a lot of y'all is attracted to toxic men, wicked men. Men out here, a lot of you is attracted to toxic women. A good wife is a good portion, which shall be given to the portion of them that fear the Lord. You don't fear the Lord, don't think you're going to get a good portion as a good wife. Ecclesiastes chapter 26, verse 6 through 9. But a grief of heart and sorrow is a woman that is jealous over another woman, and a scourge of a tongue which communicate withal. Let me tell you something. You will have a woman out here lay down and let every Tom, Dick, and Harry come plant seed up in her, have all these babies by different men, but yet what will they do? When it comes to a man that's righteous, a man that can cover multiple women, they'll hate on him and say he's a sinner. Wait a minute. Listen to what I just said. You will lay down and have kids by all these different men, by all these different plum fools, but yet the man, like the word says, in that day, 7 women took hold of one man saying, we'll eat our own bread, we'll make our own clothes, take away our approach. That means give me instruction that I can follow so I don't have to accept all this doggone blame of being independent. Verse 7, an evil wife is a yoke shaken to and fro, he that have hold of her as if he has held a scorpion. A drunken woman and a gatter abroad causes great anger, and she will not cover up her own shame. Man, when I was younger, I was entertaining, I'm telling you some hood rats, because I was a hood rat. I'm entertaining women that was smoking Black and Miles. You know, they had on Timberlands. like it's plumb foolishness. The whoredom of a woman may be known in their haughty looks and their eyelids. We got a lot of women don't care about what the truth is behind these umbrellas. That's a sign right there. They're gonna reject truth. You sitting up there, you know, trying to tell them about the real Messiah. They're gonna be believing in these fake and false, these phony jokers. They're gonna be fake and false themselves, but wanting a real man. How you a real man, but living fake and false and wanting somebody real, and vice versa? How you considering yourself prideful in your mind, a real woman, but everything about you is fake and false, and you think you're gonna get a real man, the best that the Most High Yah has? No. Sirach chapter 26, verse 10 through 12. If your daughter is determined to have, see, this is what goes back to teaching in the home. Father, this is why you got to be involved in your daughter's life. If your daughter is determined to have her own way, keep a close watch on her. If you don't, she'll take advantage of any chance she gets. She's not taking advantage of a chance to do righteousness. If she is too self-willed, be on guard and don't be surprised if she disappoints you. She'll spread her legs anywhere for any man who wants her, just as a thirsty traveler will drink whatever water is available. Think about that, man. How many sisters out there experience that? You just wanted to rebel against the wisdom that your father gave you. You know, you didn't care about bringing shame to him. And you open your legs for every thirsty traveler. Listen to what I'm saying. Righteous was not your type. How you didn't let 30, 40 jokers come bust all kind of doggone nuts up in you, treat you like a sperm receptacle, and then you out here selling this old 30, 40-year-old sexual organs as if they virgin organs and want somebody to pay that price. Now you got all kind of unrighteous rules that don't make no sense according to the Most High Yah because you've lost your virtue. I got a 30-day rule. So if I just wait 30 days, I can be as wicked as heck, and now I didn't pass your doggone test. That's not discernment. Ecclesiastes chapter 26, verse 13 through 16. The grace of a wife delight her husband, and her discretion will fatten his bones. You'll be sitting up thinking about, man, my wife's so good, man. I don't really need nothing else. I don't need nothing else. I'm good. A silent and loving woman. Wait a minute. A silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord. And there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed. A shamefaced and faithful woman is a double grace, and her content mind cannot be valued. Man, that seems like what we should really be desiring. As the sun, when it ariseth in high heaven, so is the beauty of a good wife in the ordering of her house. The spirit in her, what makes her beautiful, allows her house to be in order. You can't have your house in order with a plumb fool, but righteous wasn't your type as a man or a woman. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13 through 14. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Yah and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Women out here, I'm here to tell you that chances are you don't have no idea what a good man is. Just like many people saw Messiah, not knowing that he was the perfect example, the only begotten son that the Most High Yah gave, and they said, who is this joker? How did he have this knowledge? They were in modern day terms, they would have called him a lame. A good man is a man that fears Yah and keeps the commandments. That's the foundation of what you should be looking for in a man. You're not going to find that in the world. Verse 14, for Yah shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good, whether it be evil. A lot of women ain't going to make it into the kingdom because the men that they chose, the men that they choose to follow. You ain't going to make it into the kingdom because you're following somebody that's leading you to Sheol, leading you to hell. John chapter 3, verse 3. Yeshua answered him, truly, truly, I say to you, unless one is born again, he cannot see the kingdom of Yah. It don't matter about no money, don't matter about what he drive, it don't matter about his hairstyle, don't matter about his swagger, his clothes. If his swagger is not righteous and he ain't been born again, he ain't finna see the kingdom of Yah. Neither will you. I don't care how submitted you are to his wicked ass leadership, he ain't leading you nowhere righteous. You ain't finna see the kingdom of Yah. 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 17. Therefore, if anyone is in Hamashiach, he is a new creation. The old has passed away. Behold, the new has come. Man, when you're born again, and the evidence of being born again, the Most High Yah, when he puts his spirit in your inward parts, you receive the gift of the Ruach HaKodesh. Man, he's going to renew your mind, give you a new way of thinking and processing and discerning. That's where I hope people that watch this today, that's in the struggle, that are losing hope, man, I don't think there's anybody good out there. Just be patient. You can't have a renewed mind and want a man or a woman that mind ain't been renewed. Y'all gonna be unequally yoked. And furthermore, if you got somebody that's good, if you, as a man, if you got a woman that's submitted to you, you know, don't cause you no chaos, and you able to have some peace, man, you better rejoice in that, because here's the thing. At one point, if you became born again while, you know, being in that relationship with them, chances are they're not where you are. And it's your righteous leadership being a doer of the word that will get them along the way. You possibly can help save her soul by setting an example for her in the flesh, in the physical. And all you got to do is follow this word of Yah. New creation. Sisters out here, man, you cannot say you love the Most High Yah after you have defiled yourself and all of this stuff. Just because you say you love the Most High Yah, actions have to follow. Actions are the evidence that deliverances came, changes came, that you're born again. You know, all of this stuff that we're hearing today, we look at this doggone list. We look at this woman that they said, I ain't going to no Cheesecake Factory, and did all this nonsense. These is people that genuinely think that they love the Most High Yah. And they don't realize, man, they're servants of Hasatan, serving all these other deities, wondering why they can't prosper, wondering why they hit the wall. Men and women men hit the wall too. Man, if you didn't been one of these jokers where you didn't lay pipe your whole life and ain't never feel no duty to women, hey, don't be surprised when your doggone teeth start falling out, you looking crazy. You can't get no woman to come from you, and you trying to do old moves that's 30, 40 years out of date, and these women don't want nothing to do with you. And as the women get older, they're going to want more of a man of understanding, but you still a plum fool. Men can hit the wall too. You still trying to be young. You know, you 50, 60 years old, don't have no family, ain't never led nobody righteously. You still trying to move like you 20, trying to get the young girl, leading them astray. Plum fool. Just because you old don't mean you righteously wise. 1 John chapter 5, verse 3. For this is the love of Yah, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not burdensome. Man, let me tell you something. If there's a woman out there that you know you didn't entertain because your flesh was telling you elsewise, hey, it's not about the swagger, it's not about the game. It's about you having righteous confidence and discerning the spirit and genuinely, saying what it is you want, what it is that you need, what it is you stand for in the Yah you serve. Hey, I'm looking for a righteous woman, a godly woman. I'm looking for a woman that's submissive. I'm looking for a woman that's meek and modest. If they don't fit the bill, guess what they're going to do? They're going to get gone. Get gone. It don't matter about what the clothes she wear and the brand of clothes. If she ain't meek and modest, you ain't going to get you're not getting that area of righteousness out of her. Man, what is your type? It should be heavily residing in what is the will of the Most High Yah. Because if it's not, you're going to get exactly what you asked for. Somebody that doesn't fear the Most High Yah, somebody that's not a commandment keeper. For this is the love of Yah, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not burdensome. You don't want to be yoked with somebody that don't want to keep the commandments. Anytime it's time to keep the commandments, they fight you. You don't want that. You want somebody that loves the Most High Yah through action. Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 19. Men, and before I go on to this, today, man, I'm here to tell you that you might come across a woman that don't know nothing that we talking about, but she can see that there's a light in you and she sees it nowhere else, and that's good enough for her to follow. She ain't going to look like Megan Thee Stallion. She ain't going to look like Beyonce, but neither do you want her to. And she will do you good as long as you keep following Yah. A lot of men don't even realize that. A lot of men don't even realize that. You looking at her as simple and plain, but it ain't nothing wrong with that. She's covered up. She ain't got all the fake stuff on. She may not know all the words of the Most High, but all you got to do is continue on this path of walking straight towards that narrow gate, and she will follow. Bear you some kids, submit to the program, she'll be prudent. But this is oftentimes the women that we overlook, that get overlooked. Oh, she kind of boring, man. She really don't like to do nothing. Well, dang, on the back end, you got this woman that want to go to the club every freaking weekend. Want to go on all these girls trips, have hot girl summer, hot girl spring, hot girl winter. You said the girl that stayed home, read books and do all that and didn't want to go out and party and all that. You said she was lame. Look at where you're leading them. Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 19. They that fear the Lord are a sure seed, and they that love him an honorable plant. They that regard not the law are a dishonorable seed. They that transgress the commandments are a deceivable seed. Man, there are a lot of men and women that call themselves, that are self-validated, that call themselves, and they'll be the first one to raise their hand and say, I'm a good man, I'm a good woman, but they are deceivable seeds because they transgress the commandments of the Most High Yah, and they don't doggone fear the Most High Yah. It don't matter where they are a member of church. It don't matter how many $500 or $5, $20 words they use. They are deceivable seed. And you're going to see this. If you got a righteous spirit in you, you're going to see this. 1 John chapter 2, verse 4. Whoever says, I know him, but does not keep his commandments is a liar, and the truth is not in him. That right there needs to be, man, you need to have this at the forefront of your doggone mind. Okay? And it's a different story if a woman says, I don't know him. I don't even know this stuff what you're talking about, but I'm willing to learn. Hey, the Most High Yah can work with somebody that's willing to learn, willing to receive and apply, learn knowledge in execution, in being a doer of the word. Women out here, just because a guy got on a gold chain with a cross, got all these little crosses on their ear and know all of this stuff, all of that stuff is nothing more than a deception. Man, if that man is not a commandment keeper, does not know, chances are there's no truth in him. And that's where you're starting off in your journey if you're choosing to be with a man like that. Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 27 through 28. Behold, this is what I found, says the preacher, while adding one thing to another, finding the scheme of things which my soul has sought repeatedly, but I have not found. One man among 1,000 I found, but a woman among all these I have not found. So think about that, man. You have men and women that think righteous and godly women is supposed to be like that can of beans you go down to Walmart and get. The 30, 40 of them on the shelf. No. One man among 1,000. Think about that. Now it gives more context to why 7 women took hold of one man in that day, saying we will eat our own bread, we'll make our own clothes, just take away our reproach. Because there was only, imagine, and this word still stands out here. You see 1,000. Let's break it down even further. Okay. Genesis chapter 19, verse 23 through 26. The sun had risen on the earth when Lot came to Zoar, and the Lord rained Sodom and Gomorrah sulfur and fire from the Lord out of heaven. And he overthrew those cities and all the valley and all the inhabitants of the city and what grew on the ground. But Lot's wife behind him looked back, and she became a pillar of salt. Think about what I just said. One righteous man amongst 1,000. Think about the city that you're in right now. And think about how many people live there. Do the math on that. Divide that by 1,000. Okay. And then that number that you get, okay, if there's 5,000 people where you live, if you in somewhere small, that's 5 men. 5 men that could be righteous. Out of Sodom and Gomorrah, Lot was the only good man worth saving up in there. Think about that. And you got all these women think they know what a good man is. How many of these women would look back at their former self, look back at the sin that's about to be turned into doggone ash heaps? Isaiah chapter 10, verse 21. The remnant shall return, and the remnant of Jacob unto the mighty Yah. Man, you're going to, amongst all these men, amongst all these women, it's only going to be a remnant. You got to be patient. If you got somebody as a man that you can work with them. Deal with them in an understanding way. This stuff ain't going to happen overnight. You didn't become a righteous man overnight. Same thing. Sisters out here, be patient with these men. Let your conduct speak volumes unto this man, not your lips. You're not going to win him with your conversation and back talking all of this and telling him what he's not. Let your conduct win him over. Because I guarantee you, if you divorce this man unlawfully, which it is unlawful, and go back here on the market, you're going to find out that it ain't nothing but plum fools. That's what Tia Mari said. She divorced her husband, said she had graduated marriage. Only to find out she get out here, ain't nothing but some fools out here. Don't nobody want to deal with her. You had an opportunity, you messed it up. Romans chapter 9, verse 26. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it is said unto them, ye are not my people, there shall they be called the children of the living Yah. Verse 27. Esaias also crieth concerning Israel, though the number of the children of Israel be as the sand of the sea, a remnant shall be saved. Man, men and women today, man, I went through this message to pretty much get you focused on righteousness. Oftentimes we see all this stuff. We've been over sexualized, overstimulated, and we are conditioned to only go after the lust of the doggone flesh. When we look at a woman, man, I want a woman with a big old butt. I want a freak in the sheet. Yeah, she might be a freak in the sheets with you, but she gonna be a freak when you at work too. Man, what the same thing that you asked for unrighteously is what you're gonna get, except you're gonna get it 10 times over. As a man, you got this man, you like, man, I want a good looking man. I want a man, but you start going down this laundry list. I want a man that, he don't wear this and he wear this. And, a lot of you go so far to the point where you start trying to make the man that's in front of you what is in your imagination. This man telling you pump the brakes. I don't want none of that. I'm simple. You try to make him better, not realizing you need to submit to the Messiah in him. Man, I'm hoping that this message reaches, the youth and the people that's genuinely out there struggling and wanting better. If you're struggling because of your own choices and you don't think you're struggling, hey, you keep on doing what you're doing. But for those, like I said at the beginning, that have ears to hear, let them hear. That will receive this advice and this instruction of the will of the Most High Yah. Things did not change in my life until I returned to the covenant, started doggone keeping the law, statutes, and the commandments. It didn't matter how much I was going to church and Sunday sun worship where they weren't teaching weightier things like I taught today. Nothing wasn't changing in my house until I returned to the covenant. You know what I'm saying? I'm thankful, man, because, this past, Feast of Tabernacle, my wife slept in a tent with me. I didn't see that coming. I was like, I don't know about this one. But I said, I'm going to get my tent and I'm sleeping out there. But I was thankful. But I had to blaze the trail and set that example as a man. And as the Most High Yah is working on us as men, don't try to block the Most High Yah from having room to work on her, because he's got to do the work on her. You can't do it. You just need to live the word. Same thing like I told women out here. You need to live the word. You chose to get with a fool. You cannot expect this man to be righteous when you knew out the gate he was a plumb fool, all because you have returned to the covenant. Win him over with your conduct. Win him over by doing what you're supposed to do. Let that man come home to a blessing every day. And then at some point, that man gonna if he reach repentance, oh, he gonna be thankful. Oh, he gonna be rejoicing. Thankful that the Most High Yah sent him something so beautiful in spirit that he knew he truly didn't deserve. None of these blessings in life, when you think about the life that we lived before being born again, we don't deserve. We look at how Messiah ordered for a man to be killed for picking up sticks on the Sabbath. How many passes has the Most High Yah gave you? How much mercy has he gave you? That same mercy we need to show on our brothers and sisters. That don't mean we need to be selling bullshit. We don't need to be selling it or buying it. We need to be walking in truth and giving them time like the Most High Yah gave us time. Man, if the Most High Yah would have said, you know what? If this brother don't start following and keeping the commandments before the age of 25, I'm going to pluck him off the face of the earth. That's how much mercy was shown. And I wasn't even walking right at 25. I didn't come into this thing really until 28-ish, 29. Some people don't even get that much mercy. Man, as men and women who confess godliness, man, we are a light to the world. That means we should conduct ourselves as such. You cannot claim to be a man of the Most High Yah, but you're doing the very same thing that the Most High Yah tells you not to do blatantly in front of the world. You a man of the Most High Yah on the Sabbath. As soon as the sun go down on Saturday night, you out here entertaining harlots and all of this nonsense. Look at who the church is filled with. The church is filled with women. And guess what? These old false prophets is not giving them. They're not giving them truth. They're not giving them the weightier matters. They reading them couple of little verses that make their flesh feel good and go on about your way, sow a seed in our ministry, and we good. We're just going to keep on praying about it. And these women ain't never getting delivered. They're never receiving what they could be receiving if a man of the Yah came along and told them and gave them the truth. Once you get the truth, what you going to do with it? Will you submit to it? That's a choice we all got to make. So today, like I said, man, I wanted to give a message that would reach back not only the youth, but you in your 20s, you in your 30s, you in your 40s, because that word of Yah is pure. He ain't gonna fail us. You're not gonna do what he tells us to do. You're not gonna be a doer of the word, and he's gonna not fulfill everything that he told you he would. I need you to trust in that as a man and as a woman. Do what you're supposed to do. Let the Most High Yah handle the rest. You can't relocate yourself to put somebody in front of you that the Most High Yah already had in front of you. You got a lot of people moving around trying to find all this, but are void of doing what they're supposed to do as men and women. You might, as a woman, you might be moving around, moving to Atlanta, moving all this, trying to find a good man. But what if the Most High Yah had a good man right there in your zip code in a 5-mile radius? I'm talking about one of 1,000 type brothers right there in your area. But because you leaned on your own understanding, you tried to get ahead and have control. As a woman, you're not going to get a good man until you submit to authority. First one is the authority of the Most High Yah and biblical order. Start respecting men. Man, we got a lot of women out here that's truly struggling. Got a lot of men that's struggling. Got a lot of single mothers that's struggling. And let me tell you something. How many women out here that claim that want a good man want to honor their man like Sarah did Abraham by calling him master? I just gave you a cheat code right there. Your man tell you to do something? Yes, sir. No, sir. Like, a lot of women don't realize that they could be winning based upon that right there. A man coming home to a woman that's respectful, peaceful. Oh, man. She responds to you with saying, yes, sir, no, sir. Man, that's the type of woman that'll make you stay on righteousness, stay on that straight and narrow path. How many of them won't get the opportunity because they think that they're too good to be respectful, to reverence a man? And that's the will of the Most High Yah. Men out here, you got men that have women that are desiring to be led righteously. Listen to what I'm saying. You got men out here that have women that desire to be led righteously. And you're not answering the call as a man. There's some stuff in the world that's got you hooked, that's causing you from returning to the covenant. And what'll happen is, man, you might end up divorcing your woman because you think she's unclean, but you unrighteous. And then you see later on down the road, somebody get your woman and do something righteous where they lead her. Man, you got to wake up. We got to start discerning these people that we entertain. Some folk is not going to get a lot of chances. All of the foolishness that I used to partake in, I had to let go of that stuff. Let go of that stuff. If I'm going to be the man, of righteousness, a man that's reading this stuff in the word and saying it applies to me. How many people got these Bibles thinking they want a good man or a good woman, but nothing righteousness in the book applies to their lifestyle? Righteousness was never your type. Man, righteousness needs to be at the forefront of your dating expectations, your preferences. It needs to be at the forefront. It needs to be at the forefront. Man, let me tell you something. What if this woman don't look like one of these worldly women? What if she don't look like Kim Kardashian? But what if she honor you like Sarah did Abraham? Yes, sir. No, sir. Thank you. Thank you for going out and providing for me. I know this world is hard on you. Thank you for that. I know you're doing the best you can. Man, that'll make you go work harder. You working 40 hours a week, working 5 days a week, that'll make you go work 6 days a week right there. Coming home to that, you coming home and she, you sitting at the table so hungry, she in there cooking up food, making do with what you're able to provide as you're growing in this thing. Man, that's a good woman. But oftentimes women like that get overlooked. You want her butt cheeks hanging out. You want her twerking. You want her doing all this. Same thing, men. Same thing, sisters. You want these men that don't have nothing going for themselves. And when I say going for themselves, they're not on the path of righteousness. You'll lay down and have kids, and you'll be with a good man, a man that's doing some of the stuff that I'm talking about righteously. And what'll happen? You'll want to be like Lot's wife. You'll want to look back. Let me get out here and find me a little entanglement. The word says the wise woman builds her house. You ain't going to build a house, or be a wise woman if you ain't building it righteously. But the foolish pluck it down. You got to think, you doggone worried about what you don't have instead of what the Most High Yah done bless you with. Man, it's not about, I get it, man. We're visual people. But I guarantee you, when you read about the brother being on the rooftop from dealing with a quarrelsome woman, he don't care what she looked like in that moment. He don't care how fine she is. He's trying to get the hell away from her. Think about what I'm saying. Ponder on this. Share this with somebody. Because we got a lot of traps being set. And not enough truth being given of the will of the Most High Yah for people to navigate these snares, to get around them. Like, that's a snare. I don't need to mess with that as a man or a woman. I don't want this free sex she trying to give me. I don't want that. It ain't righteous. If it were free for you, dang, what price you think anybody else had to pay for it? Man, I hope everybody has a good Sabbath, able to rest, enjoy this day, and then return to Yom Day 1, once sun is down. Hope I said something to edify your souls, to encourage those that's struggling, to seek the Most High Yah, to return to the covenant, to return to his righteousness, because ultimately that's the only way. So there you have it. Let me get in these comments real quick. Make sure we good. We got Brother Joshua, Shabbat Shalom. We got Noah Joshua, Shabbat Shalom. McCoy White, Timothy Shropshire, Nathaniel Nelson. Let's keep going. Maurice Delva, season never stops. Let's see who else we got in here. John Charlemagne. Okay. Hey, Shabbat Shalom. Man, I appreciate it. Brother Joshua, David Motley. Hey, I appreciate the support. A lot of this message, I know folk don't have the ears to hear, and they will just shut it down. They'll be looking at everything going around me instead of receiving the wisdom. And I tried to not be so harsh in this one, but get it out with still giving you the rawness that I know people need, to be able to hear, to be able to relate to. So that was the goal of this one. Shabbat Shalom. Walk in peace, walk in love, walk in truth. Closer to Yah Ministries, kicking it gun barrel straight.